Welcome back to City Skylines. Today we are starting off with another big time lapse. This is about 35-ish minutes. If you want to skip it to different parts, you can check the YouTube chapters, jump forward for the recap and all that. But today we're starting off here by the theme park. Obviously this has been a big area we've been working on the last few parts. So I wanted to do a little bit of a nicer tram, you know, turn around and stop. I also wanted it to stop kind of closer to where the ferry is, because it kind of awkwardly stopped at the theme park, and then there's a ferry stop down here that was just really far away that didn't really make a whole bunch of sense. So I thought, let's try and build something that you know, is a little bit neater, looks a bit nicer, and you know, places things a little bit closer together. I also just want to say that there's been less videos the last little while because, number one, been super duper busy. And then because I was so busy, I was feeling really run down. So I've just been taking it super easy lately and not over like working myself. But having said that, I was doing, you know, a lot of just building in the game like I have here. So ended up with a lot of time lapses, but it does mean that we had a few less videos over the last little bit. So that's why we've been a little bit slower on the actual number of videos. But I still think we're getting, you know, a fair chunk of things done here, which is really good. So I'm just trying to make this area, especially by the beach, try to sort of sit here a little bit nicer because it's quite hilly, which you might be able to tell by all the cliffs behind it. And then the beach is quite low. And then the tram or the cable cars that we're actually using are quite high up. You know, the elevation's all over the place. So just trying to blend everything together decently, so that it sort of makes a little bit of sense, trying to find some rocks here that sort of, you know, tie it all together. And I think in the end, I think this area ends up looking really nice. It's not like super duper polished or super detailed or anything like that, but I think it looks really nice. And I think it actually worked out really well. I don't know if, oh yeah, no, I think we do. I add a lot more detail than this, obviously, but this is the general sort of layout of it. So the trams come to this little turnaround. I actually add a tram stop down the bottom there, which so stop near the beach, and it allows, you know, people coming to or from the ferry to actually, you know, transit between it. Now here is something that I'm not 100% sure that I want to keep here. I kind of like the idea in theory. In practice, I'm not so sure of it, so I'm very willing to change this. But I did it because I kind of liked it, and I kind of liked that it was a little bit dirty and a little bit, you know, kind of gross, and it's something that you might expect to actually see in a city. So this road here, the road is fine. I don't have any problems with this road coming down here. But actually on this road, I put a brand new waste management facility. So the giant building that we actually put really far out few episodes ago. I did another one because I noticed the other one, it's doing okay, but it's not, I don't think it's enough, or at least because it's so far away. So in a moment, I actually don't know if it's in the time lapse or not. I think it is. I actually build a waste management facility out around where that road is, and it kind of sticks out into the river. It means you can see it from the other side of the city, from all the suburbs. But I kind of liked it because it's kind of, it's like tucked away inside, like nestled in the cliff area. You'll get an idea of what I mean in a minute because we're really not seeing it right now. But yeah, on the one hand, I really like it because it is kind of gross and kind of looks terrible. And that's why I like it. On the other hand, I don't like it because of those reasons. So I don't know. We'll have to go from there and see where we end up. Now I'm also just doing some lane markings to, like, you can see I've made the sort of the tram tracks there. I made them match in the green color. So when it goes through the intersection, you can kind of see where the tram goes. I also did like custom footpath crossing there. Like I did a lot on that little intersection where the trams are turning out. Like a lot of custom line work and painting and all that. And I think it looks pretty cool. Like it's not perfect, but I think it's cool. Then around here, so this is, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do here. Originally, I was going to do some like low density shops and stuff. I actually had a motel here. It didn't look very good. I changed it out to the Shake Shack, which is sitting right there. So a little fast food restaurant. And then some parking lots. And then I kind of just turned this area into a park, you know. It is still in the theme park zone. So it's kind of like in a park zone. So I put some pathways there. It's just like a nice green space in front of the little, I guess, castle, if you will. And yeah, it just has pathways for people to walk around and do a few gazebos and stuff. And I also do a couple of pathways that access down to the beach area. And I think this works really well. Like there's not really many buildings here. It's kind of like a little nestled away cove. You know, it's not like the main beach in the city by any means, so I didn't think it needed lots of buildings here, especially with this big theme park in this area. It kind of looked weird if I tried to put buildings in front of this, so I thought doing the park kind of made a bit more sense. And then I tried to do a little bit more building around the other side of this park, which we might see in a moment. I didn't record absolutely everything. Like there's always bits and pieces that aren't recorded, so we'll have to go back and have a look in the when we jump into the game. But yeah, just doing a couple of crossings here so you can get down to the beach area. So it provides access down that way and allows them to get over to where we're putting some gazebo. Actually, no, I didn't put gazebos down there. I think I just put a couple of piers coming off the beach, so like maybe a restaurant pier or something like that. Something along those lines. I'm not entirely sure, but just a couple of, I did a couple of like the concrete paths and some invisible ones that followed on from that. And I think it works out well. There's a few people sort of walking around there, not super duper busy, but I think it's busy enough. I didn't really want it to be super like jam-packed on the beach there because we've already got the theme park, which by the way, the theme park is ready. It is level 5. We can put in the roller coaster, which we will do in the live gameplay after the time lapse. We'll do some theme park additions because that is what I'm planning to do. And I've also built out a little area. Well, when I say built out, I didn't really build out. We have the sort of general area where the zoo may be built. So I'll show you that when we get to it. There's a little bit of it in the time lapse, so we'll see that. I also ended up removing that pathway you can see going around the outside of the castle because, I mean, we weren't really using it, so I decided to get rid of it. Now, this area here, we've obviously got all these modern apartment blocks and stuff around. I wanted to do a bit more of that because we got this huge gap between where the theme park is and where the buildings end, so I just wanted to do a few more. Look, probably not the most desirable place to live in the city because, you know, it's right next to this theme park. It's on this cliff. They don't even have a good view, you know. It looks into the wall of a theme park, and it'd also probably be really loud. So not the most desirable place to live, but it's a place to live, you know. It's fine. It gets us a few more people in the city. Nothing major. We still haven't quite got near that 50,000 population mark. You know, we're still a little ways off. I think we do need to, and did I mention this last time? We need to do some industrial work. We might have a look at that today as well if we get time. But I did spend a lot of today's episode on this time lapse, so we'll see. I just want to. There's just so many little areas around that I wanted to work a bit more on. So like around this theme park, this is the first section of the time lapse. The next section of the time lapse are finally gonna go to the stadiums and address the big green space that's just kind of left there. So we'll fill that in very shortly. We also fill in a bit more of the downtown in this time lapse, and we do some train line work as well. So there's quite a few little bits and pieces. It's kind of like filling in a few blank places that have been sort of left over as I've been building up the last few episodes, you know, the last, I don't know, what are we now, 20 something episodes. There's always little gaps, little pieces that we need to go back and finish off. So that's kind of what I was doing in this time lapse. Now this area here, I wanted to put in this pathway because you can see we have that pathway coming down the hill. And I wanted this to continue so that essentially provided a nice, easy way for people to walk all the way from the top down the bottom and get easy access down to where the theme park area is, and not just the theme park, but the national park just next to it with all the hiking trails. So they can actually come down this way and connect up to all of that. So I think that actually works out quite well, and is quite a well-utilized pathway, which I was quite pleased with. So that just comes down to this little area. I just sort of turned it so it didn't look too weird just ending there. Yeah, I think, you know, all things considered, I think all these buildings, like these apartment blocks, I've sort of squished them in. They're at all these weird heights because they're on a really steep cliff. I mean, yeah, if you look up really, really close to them, you can obviously see them clipping into the ground and to each other. But I think from any reasonable distance that we're viewing them from, I think they look great. I think it looks so cool seeing them all on the cliff there and having all these sort of rocks in between them. Got a Dan Murphy's down here, which is like a liquor store. So, you know, it kind of makes sense next to the theme park. Go get your booze, go have a good time. You know, it's all good. And then I just did a little bit of a cliff there because, I mean, there wasn't too much else that could really fit in that spot other than some rocks and some trees and, you know, just a little bit of foliage to sort of blend that all together a little bit. Oh, okay, yeah, so this is where I'm building the huge waste management facility. So make no mistake, this is 100% an eyesore. But like I was mentioning, I think it was the last video, like sometimes having ugly things in the city or things in inopportune places is kind of part of what makes a city, you know? Not everything is perfect and picturesque. And obviously, you know, it's City Skylines, so we could make it perfect if we wanted to. But sometimes it's also fun to do things that aren't so perfect and aren't so great. And there's this big factory looking building right here over the river. And I don't hate it. And like I said before, it's because you can see that it's sort of surrounded by all these cliffs. So it's not like right next to a residential area. And that's also a reason it could go here, because obviously this building pollutes a lot. Like I think it's got a lot of sound pollution and a lot of, you know, pollution. So it has to be further away from stuff. And the closest thing to it is the theme park, which is on the other side of the hill. And that's also not residential. So that's fine. And then there's water and then a park. And then eventually residential way over on the other side of the river. So it's like, it's not even close. So it actually functions as a really good spot for the building. It's just whether or not we like the looks of it there, which I think it's definitely going to be a very contentious building, but I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Now, this is another thing I wasn't actually too sure about, is I decided to connect this road up to this main road. So this, in effect, this road here is kind of like our highway. It's obviously not a highway. It's like the expressway that connects the city, the downtown area, to the suburbs, and then subsequently to the highway on the other side of the city. So it's obviously always heavily trafficked, and I really try not to impact that most of the time. But I decided to just do an intersection here. This is just a regular intersection with traffic lights. It seems to be working fine, but the other option I had was actually just connect. You know, see the road going underneath the bridge? I just connect it up on the opposite side as well, so we have a four-way junction. All I have to do then is just turn off vehicles being able to cut across to the other side, and it would probably increase the flow, and it would probably work a little bit better. Now, finally back over at the stadium area, in this space that has been blank for eons whenever we built this originally. So most of the comments and suggestions were to do like clubs and pubs and bars and hotels in this area, which makes a lot of sense because there's a stadium sort of district in Sydney that has what's called the entertainment quarter, which has like a theater, has movie cinema, it's got bars and clubs, entertainment venues, you know, like all that kind of stuff in that area. And it's right near all the stadiums, right near all these big sporting fields. So that's kind of also a little bit of the inspiration for this. It's sort of on this big curvy pedestrian footpath in real life. So, you know, it's like, you know, I'll curve this road, gonna put all these buildings down. Gotta be honest, there's not a lot of clubs and nightclub venues in this game. So I did my best to fill it out. I think it looks all right. Like, I mean, I put all these buildings that are close together, I layered some of them, and I tried to fill it in as much as possible so it didn't look too strained. I actually think it turns out quite nicely, you know. We get a nice little sort of hustle and bustle of activity in the area, but it's not like over the top. So we got all these little club areas here, and it also gives us the opportunity to add in some pedestrian paths and other ways to connect it to the rest of the city, because obviously the only way into this whole stadium area at the moment is through the toll booth roads if you're driving, or you get on the tram, or you can walk in. It is free to walk in the area, but it's obviously very impractical to walk there at the moment because all the footpaths sort of come from various different angles. Especially at the moment, we don't have any footpath connecting this side to that road. But as you can see, I put one in right now, so it makes a lot more sense. You know, they can actually walk into the stadium area now in a lot more practical way, just from the downtown that's right next to us here. And leading on from this area, we do a little bit more work on the downtown. Not a huge amount, like I just do some more buildings here and there, and a little bit more landscaping, because the downtown area, we have the general sort of skeleton of it, but a lot of it isn't really detailed or filled out yet. So we sort of go back and do a little bit more there, adding a few more buildings in, some more trees, all that kind of stuff. And just here, just doing some pathways. It's just supposed to be a nice park, like green spaces, because I guess you can also think of this area as some parks for the downtown city area. You know, you could go here to hang out, go here to have some lunch or something. It's very close to all the public transport. It's close to the downtown. It's close to all that kind of stuff. So it seems to work quite well. And I thought at the end of this road was actually a really nice place to tuck in this multi-story car park. It actually kind of fits really well once I adjust it, and it actually doesn't like clip into the road. Though I'm not sure, you know, so I don't know if you guys have noticed, every so often there'll be a car that's flying across the map somewhere, and it's like flying to a parking spot. I think, I haven't done any research or looked this up, but as far as I'm aware, that's because of Traffic President, the advanced parking AI, which I have turned on, which basically means citizens have to park their cars somewhere. I think that's what it means. So there's a lot more parked cars in the game, which means the parking lots don't look empty. So we have that turned off. All the parking lots look really empty, and it's kind of sad. So it's really nice having that on, but I think that means we have some floating cars every so often. But what I don't know if that means is I don't know if they're paying for the toll to park in that parking lot. That's what I'm concerned about, because the cars are like flying in across the roads. Like, I don't know if they're paying for it. I just want them to pay the toll, because it's not free to get in here, you know, unless you're walking or public transport. But if you're driving, you got to pay. But yeah, doing lots of pathways and pedestrian access. And I even bring it down to the main road over here. I really want to build up the main beach at some point as well, because we've got this huge, huge beach that runs along all the downtown. This big tram road down here too, and the big, obviously, Ferris wheel right there, or the Bowser Bay Eye, if you will, sort of sitting right there. You know, we should build up that beach and make it a big tourist spot, because at the moment it's just very empty and very yellow. But yeah, we're getting there bit by bit. Yeah, so actually at the end of that little cul-de-sac there, the entertainment area, I love this, like that Art Deco cinema, which was inspired sort of by the one I was talking about in Sydney. Obviously, it looks nothing like that in Sydney at all. It's just a generic building. But the idea of having a cinema there was inspired by the Sydney venue. Yeah, just doing some hedges around the area, just because, I don't know, I thought it felt like a little bit more sleek, a little bit more professional, having some sort of border or fencing to the area, because obviously it's a big private, like, and when I say private, I mean like it's obviously built by some company or foundation that, you know, maintains all the grounds and all that. So they have that land sort of, you know, fenced off with the hedges, versus like the public city grounds is a different area, you know. So that's why I thought it looked kind of nice having that hedge going around the outside of it. There's no like, I guess we could do it, but there's no like park entrances for pedestrians. Like they don't have to pay to go in there if they're walking. Though, like I said, could do that. We definitely could. Yeah, so in the downtown, we obviously have a lot of these empty spaces as well. Some of which, as you can see right now, I'm filling up with like parking lots, because I think parking is pretty important, especially in the downtown. And other areas I'm just filling up with, you know, more buildings as well. Because there's a lot of stuff to place. We obviously have a lot of demand as well. You can see we still have a lot of commercial and a lot of industrial demand. So that means, you know, more offices. It means more sort of high density shops. And you guys are saying commercial also includes like the tourism and the leisure commercial, which I'm wondering if we should just zone specific areas for that, just to let it build out and sort of balance the demand a bit. I'm not sure. But I was just trying to place a few buildings manually. Also, we still have this big Art Deco building in the center of the city, this big black Art Deco building, which we said was potentially, that we said would change. I don't know. I don't know. I just haven't actually looked for other buildings to place there yet. So it's just staying that for now. If you have any suggestions of what building we could put there instead of the huge, big black Art Deco building. The only thing I don't like about that building is that I can't change the color of it, because I wish it wasn't so black. Like I wish we could just make it like a lighter color, even just like gray. I just feel like it's too dark. It doesn't really suit. I mean, it is pretty big compared to the scale of the city, but anyway. Yeah, just trying to, this is basically what I was doing, was going through all the little options, seeing what would fit. Obviously, not every building in a downtown city area is like a skyscraper, because if it was, then, well, no one would have any windows looking anywhere. Even in like somewhere like Manhattan, when you get in there, you know, a lot of the buildings aren't super duper tall. Like there's areas that aren't skyscrapers, and little blocks or little buildings in certain blocks that are a bit smaller. So, you know, I'm trying to do a mix of tall buildings, smaller buildings, you know, all that kind of stuff. Also filling in these little gaps and stuff here around the cargo train line, which, oh my gosh, I really want to get the cargo train line going too in this city. Maybe we can get, we just need, oh yeah, oh my tram lines are messing up so bad here. Look at this. Like, I was like, what is going on? It's because of the traffic it's not the traffic president, but it's a mod that works with traffic president that sort of makes the tram tracks disappear and they only go certain directions depending how they're connected. And because I upgraded the road, which was the bridge, which you saw a moment ago, when you upgrade it, it doesn't automatically save how you had the lanes connected before, so it kind of messed up all my trams, which is slightly annoying. Anyway, so they're back. Yeah, I wonder. I really want to get that cargo going. Maybe we can get some zoning going, because I think if we fulfill more industrial and commercial, we will get more residents moving in, because most of the residential buildings, at least the high density ones, aren't completely full. Like there's space in a whole bunch of them. So I think we might be able to just get more population by zoning more. So maybe we should just do a little zoning area once we jump into the game of either commercial, industrial, or both, and try and get a few more things going. Especially around the waste management area that we built last time. That's a little bit further out of the city. We could actually zone around there, like maybe some industrial kind of stuff. So this area, I was trying to get, like, because we're right next to the train line, and it's on top of a quay. The ground isn't flat. I was trying to do a hedge fence, the other one. It wasn't working, so I used this one. So I could have, like, I wanted it to look nice around here and have, like, pathways where people can sort of walk alongside the railway. Because this is kind of like the old industrial railway running through the downtown of the city. It's kind of always been there. Maybe at some point we can change it into like a passenger service, but for now it's definitely going to be the cargo rail, because that's the one that's planned to go to the cargo port, which we don't have a spot for yet, but we are planning, heavily planning for. So one day we will finally have that, which will be exciting. But for now we have these pathways, which as far as I'm aware, I think people can use that. I sort of connected it up with some invisible pathways. I think every so often someone sort of walks that way, but we'll probably have to go back and double check on that. So just trying to find the right sort of building that fits along this side of the road and like doesn't clip into the train line behind was kind of hard. But you know, selecting a few here and there, eventually we got some that fit really, really nicely, and actually also works really well. I didn't do all of the sort of edge of the quay, but this area in particular I was quite pleased with, having these buildings sitting really nicely on the edge there, and then good like the tennis court on the other side for the residential building. You know, I think it all works really, really nicely. And I love seeing all those sort of trams crossing over there. And I think especially once we get those cargo trains rolling through there too, I think it's gonna look so, so good. So you can see we still have a lot of space in the downtown. Like I'm by no means near done with it, but I wanted to place more. Mostly because of the zoning. Like a lot of these buildings I'm placing are actually commercial, or at least I'm trying to do commercial buildings because our demand for commercial is so high. So I was trying to do a lot more of that to sort of fill in a lot of these gaps that we have, and also just finding the right buildings. I think I either need to like find some more buildings on the workshop, or I need to start getting more creative, because I feel like I'm running out of buildings I can use. Like I obviously reuse a lot of the same buildings here and there, but I feel like I need more varieties, so I don't know. I really quite like that vanilla building there, though. I thought it looked quite good. Yeah, so that's kind of like the downtown changes. We're just about to move into doing some rail network changes. There was a really good comment suggesting to do like a historic steam train line that goes to the zoo, which the zoo suggestion was to be built on the big hill next to the downtown area. Which we'll have a better look at when we jump into the game. But first of all, this little area here as well, like there's so many, we got all this space around the train lines and the intersection. Like all this space is right in the downtown of the city. Like it would be it's such prime real estate for it to not have anything on it. So I thought, let's place some things here. This area in particular, you know, not ideal. It's right next to an interchange, right next to the train lines. So I did like a warehouse, I did a skate park, because that's cool. You know, that's hip, and like a little plaza here as well. And I think I did a fast food joint here actually in a second as well. But yeah, just a little drive through. You know, I thought it was kind of cool. Like it's nothing special. It's kind of like maybe a little bit more rundown, because I mean, look at all those train lines and highway that are literally encircling this little pocket. But it is a pocket, and it is in the downtown, so it would be prime real estate. And I could imagine in real life this being redeveloped at some point into apartments, even though it is in this spot. Whether they'd be good apartments and well insulated from sound, probably not in real life, but you know, you'd hope so. But this is definitely something they'd do. So likewise with that little area, we've also got this little pocket on the other side. I was tempted just to leave it, but for the same reason, I feel like it should have something on it because it is right at the downtown. It is right by the central station, right by this highway interchange. You know, it is such a prime location that it has to have something on it. So I thought what could be cool here is a big old factory, like some old factory that I don't know what it was. It did something. I did try to look at, you know, vanilla buildings that would fit in here, or even some of the unique factories. But obviously, I mean, if you guys remember from previous episodes when I was pulling them out, the vanilla factory, like the unique factories are massive. So we have to build something a little bit custom here. Now, I'm not 100% sold on this build of a factory here. You'll see it sort of come together as I put pieces together and I do a few different things. I'm not like completely married to the idea of this particular factory here. So if you have some feedback or suggestions on this build, once it's done, this is not it. Don't worry, that's not it. I do a lot of other stuff. This is me trying to figure out what I'm going to do. But once it's done, wait to give feedback until you see the finished product. But let me know in the comments down below what you think, if you like the idea, if we should refine it a bit or you know, work on it. I don't know. So I'm trying to use all these little factory pieces. I can't remember exactly which set this is from, but it is in my asset collection, which is linked in the description down below. It is a set that I used on the festival island where I got the chimney from. It's in that set. Actually, it says manufacturing. I think it's like manufacturing set or something it's called. Yeah, I think if you search manufacturing set on the workshop, you'll probably find it. So yeah, it's all these different little buildings. I'm trying to figure out how to piece it together. I'm also trying to keep in the back of my mind that when this factory was built, that highway would not have been there, which is kind of one of the reasons I don't know how much sense this makes, having it here in terms of what I do later on. So maybe that'll have to change. But I can imagine that the railway was always there, and probably the light rail, you know, that kind of stuff would have been there. But I don't think this highway interchange would have been here when this factory was built. And so what I'm doing now is this set has this really cool sort of bridge that connects, you know, different buildings together. I thought it'd be cool to connect it to the warehouse across the other side. But then I was thinking about it. While it is a cool idea, I don't know if it makes a huge amount of sense. But I guess it could have been something that they built, you know, after the fact. Maybe they built it later on, after the highway was built. But then does that bridge look too old, you know, for that highway? You know, the highway looks a lot newer. I don't know. So let me know about that. But yeah, it's kind of this factory sitting here. Whatever this factory used to do, you know, it was right here, perfect location, right by the train line, all that kind of stuff. I think it's really cool. But yeah, there's a few details that maybe need to be worked out. I think it looks cool, but I don't know if it makes the most amount of sense. But maybe that's always the way. Maybe that's the way. Maybe it shouldn't make sense. Maybe it should just be. I also have to make sure those pillars on these bridges aren't, you know, touching the highway too much. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so that building's there, and then I actually do a little bit of, I think, just another sort of industrial building or commercial building just next to, or maybe an office. I do something else just next to this building. Now, all of these buildings as well that I'm placing, I think they are functional industrial buildings, so I think people will go there and work there, if I'm not mistaken, because I build a road that hopefully gets close enough to them. But yeah, I was just really trying to figure out how all this is going to work. I love this vanilla building. This one looks so cool. So I think that, yeah, I think I stick that on the front, do I? And try to color match it as best as I can. I think it works really well. And I sort of, yeah, here we go. I dragged the road down the bottom. So all those buildings that I placed, because all those little sections and buildings, like I said, are accessible and people work there. So as long as the road's close enough, they should be able to get there just fine. So that goes down there. And then I also, yeah, put another little office building next to that area, which we'll have a look at closer later on. But now we're moving to some more of the rail work that I was talking about. So like I said, there was a great comment about doing this historic steam train line. Ignore this bridge at the moment. You know, this is, a lot of that's just temporary and I'm sort of raising it up. So I had a good think about where this train line was going to go and where the zoo was going to go. So the zoo, we'll get a better look at it in a moment, is going to go on the big hill that is next to all the train line, next to the downtown, you know, that area that is really blocked off just here behind this town. You know, on the other side of this highway here, there's that big blank grass space at the top of the screen right now. So that, at the moment, is really cut off from the rest of the city because we got the highway, all the rail there. But yeah, that was suggested as a good place to do a zoo. Now, I don't remember how big the zoos end up being, but we might need to make it pretty dang big because it's going to be up on this hillside somewhere. And this section of rail that I'm building now that goes down underneath, this is supposed to be the historic steam engine line, which goes down, winds underneath the other rail. I was trying to build it in a way, again, that looked like it had kind of always been there. And then maybe the other stuff was added later on, you know. So the rail next to it would have been built probably at a later date, the one that's sort of bridging over it. And the highway was obviously built later on at some point. So the steam train line that I'm building, this one here, it'll go off somewhere into there's like mountains out over that way. We'll take it out over that way at some point. But at the moment, it literally has one stop because it can't go anywhere else just yet. It goes there and then that's it. So I think, I tried to put, like I said, I tried to put the rail there. Like it looked like that was maybe the first rail in the area. Then the other ones were added later. And I think I kind of achieved that. Oh, actually, also, if you have any suggestions for like a really old or classic looking train station on the workshop, please let me know. I've just used this really basic suburban one, which doesn't look special at all. I feel like we need some really cool old school train stations for the steam train because I think it'll look awesome. So I'm doing a few little underpasses here so we can actually get a road to the other side because, like I said, I think I said it last time, this whole area at the moment has been cut off from everything. Like there's no way to get over there. So we're trying to build a way to get over there now. So the train goes underneath on that side and then the road's coming around this way. We'll obviously have to connect it over the other side as well, further down. Haven't completely worked everything out yet. So that'll remain to be seen. But yeah, so that little bridge they built over the river, that's where the steam train will probably go, is what I'm thinking. And this area here on the hill, this is where the zoo will be, somewhere. We might change the landscaping, we might change everything, who knows? You know, it's all just a very rough sketch and rough placement of everything. Now, I did download a custom steam engine train to run on this classic line, so you will see that in this, probably this time lapse. And also when we jump to the game, I'll show you. The only problem is trains in City Skylines, much like trains in real life, can't just flip and turn around. So half the time the train is running backwards instead of forwards, which makes sense in, you know, that a train can't just turn around. But what I was thinking of later on, once we get some more tiles and we extend this train line, at the end of this steam engine train line, I think I'm going to do a turnaround. So the train will always be going forward, just because I think it will look a lot nicer having the train running forward down the tracks. Oh, also, if you know any good steam engine trains on the workshop, please let me know. I found like one, and this was it. I was kind of hoping for, because it's nice, but it's really dark as well. Like it's like almost black. I can't really see many details on it. I don't know if I can change the color of it in my game or something, if there's a mod for that, or some way to sort of neaten it up. But yeah, it's not quite ideal, but it's good. It's good enough for now. You know, it does the job. It conveys the point. So I'm adding this little highway connection here because it kind of seemed like we should probably have another connection from the highway, at least somewhere near here. Now, this is obviously only in one direction on that side of the highway. You cannot come, if you're coming from, let's just say the north, you can't use this entrance or exit. So only coming from the city or leaving away from the city, you can use this, if that makes sense. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but you can see it. I've only done this connection on one side of the highway, but I do another exit further down the highway. So down where that corner we have is, that makes no sense. I'll show you. I'll show you when we do the tour. It's kind of hard to explain some things without showing it. Yeah, so just make sure the lanes are connected up so people don't cut across. Because like this is a highway that we have here, but it's also just a regular road. Like if I don't specify which ways they can turn, they will cut across, you know, the highway traffic to get to the other side. And I also wanted the lines to look nice. As you can see here, I'm doing all the line work, making sure it looks proper how it should. And it doesn't, you know, it doesn't look like a big blank gap because that would be a little strange on a highway. You generally want some good line markings. So that's there. So that now provides an access, which will be good for when we have the actual zoo built in that area, which I think will be good. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about. This is where I do the little exit further down. Because I figured we definitely have room here to connect up. So it seems silly not to. We didn't originally, because originally we didn't need to. But now the city has grown. We have a lot of traffic. It would be useful to have an exit there. so that they can get off that side. And again, likewise, doing the line work and not letting traffic cut across all the lanes is kind of important. So making sure they go the correct way. And now this exit here is kind of at the point where I finally need to add a few more lanes to it because we've got a lot of people coming down this way now. This used to be pretty quiet. It's a lot more busy of an exit, so I decided to add a few more lanes. Again, line work, lanes, making it all neat, making sure it all works, and cars go where they should, when they should, all that kind of stuff. You know, I think I actually need to add another lane to this road. I'll show you when we get into the game. It might not be as bad. It's not always bad, but sometimes it could definitely use a third lane in the one direction. One lane entering is still fine, but the two exiting, I don't know if that's enough. So we might have to address that in a moment. But this is pretty much it for the time-lapse. I hope you enjoyed the time-lapse and everything we've done so far. Now let's jump into the game. We've got to work on the theme park. We've got to work on maybe a little bit of zoning. I don't know how much time we're going to have left, but let's see how much we can get done. Let's jump into the game. I'll give you a quick tour and show you around. Okay, so here we are in the game. Let's start in the area that we started off in the time-lapse. So down here we have a new tram turnaround, which I think looks a heck of a lot better than that weird little roundabout thing we had. So the trams come down here. I've made sure to do some line work and painting. Crosses over, they come down here. There's a tram stop just here. So that connects to the ferry and the ferry to the tram. You know, it gives them good interchange at those 2 points. And we are actually seeing people use it, which is nice. So they can use it there. There's the tram, as you can see. A couple of people get off, a couple of people get on. They can then cross and sort of walk up toward the theme park this way. And then the cable car continues on. Oh, actually, something else I didn't mention in the time-lapse. You can see I actually removed all of the catenaries for the trams because cable cars have their cables in the ground and not above. So none of this road has it overhead for this entire line because they don't need them, which is pretty cool. Though, again, I don't know how realistic it is having them go around all these corners and everything. But it is what it is. Yeah, so they come down here. Obviously, we have the catenaries back over this point because this is where our other trams are running. Which is not new. But yeah, just showing you that's all gone all the way along there. So coming back down here, we have this little park build at the front, a couple of piers, nothing too special. We also have this new road built down the side here, and a couple of new apartment blocks all through this hilly area just here, with a pathway that connects down through it all, which I think looks really, really good. And it has a connection down this way as well, so they can come through to the theme park or to the national park just there as a quick walking route. So they can essentially walk, you know, from over this park, come through these roads, come down behind here and come through and down, you know, like there's a nice little route there. I haven't figured out where these roads are going, if they're going to keep going, what we're doing there just yet, but that's how it is at the moment. This area is sort of filled out and built. This area over here is obviously done, which is good. And then this area here where the road comes underneath the tunnel, comes around, we have this big waste facility. This is the bit where I was like, I don't know, this could be, no, this will be controversial. I like how dirty it looks, you know, and how industrious it looks. Especially from over here, you can see it. Like, I don't think it sticks out too much. I made it a darker color so it also blends in a bit more. I put trees around it. So that's why I don't hate it, but I also kind of like it because it is a big factory that is sitting right there. Also right along the water, which is something, you know, a lot of factories used to do, is have easy access to the water. I mean, they still do in this day and age. I don't know why I said used to do. But, you know, having access to water is really good. So having it right there, I kind of like. But it's also, it is in a way prime real estate. You know, there's a beach there. There's a big park on this side, the bridge and everything. Like, coming across this bridge, you see it there. But maybe that's like an iconic thing about the city is, you know, you go across the bridge, the main city bridge, and you see the old waste facility right there. I don't know. It's kind of fun. And then this is the intersection that I was talking about in the build as well. So at the moment, we have 2 lanes coming up, and then it's just literally, this has a set of traffic lights here. There's a left lane there, and an entrance. You know, nothing special, but I was thinking we could extend this road, have a join here, and then have no crossover of traffic and have a smooth flow without traffic lights. So that's a potential, but I haven't done that just yet. So that's that. Then the next thing we worked on was the stadiums area. So we finally built in this section, which I think looks good. I think the only thing I need to do is maybe put a couple trees just here. I'm not quite sure why I left it as blank as I did. I think I was maybe going to do something there, but then I decided I didn't want to. Yeah, I don't think I honestly don't think we need anything else. I think we just need some trees. Annoyingly, is there a way to like stop? I don't want to upgrade the road. I'm just trying to place a tree there. Is there like a hotkey that I can disable that? Oh, that's really small. I need like big trees. Like this? No. This. Okay, I'm just going to put them here, then I'm going to move them. Big tree. Actually, let's go... Actually, yeah, one of these. Yeah. And then get some of these. Yeah, these puppies. Hang on. Oh. Oh, yeah, there we go. The big one. Yeah, just stuff like this, then I'll just move them a little bit so they're not like right there. I don't know, just need a little bit of something. We could maybe do another gazebo. But yeah, just like that, that's fine. And I need to do some more down here too. Anyway, yeah, so this is all like nightclubs and pubs and bars and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Right here by the stadium, so you can come here, hang out. There's a big parking lot right here, which I actually really like as you come up, or I guess go down. Come up on this side, but you see this sort of parking lot right there. See, these cars that sort of do that floating thing I was talking about in the time lapse. I mean, that's just how the game works sometimes, especially with this parking lot. But like this guy, he came from over here. Like, I don't think he's paying the toll. And that's what upsets me the most. I don't care that they're flying, but can you fly through the toll booth? Because this isn't free, buddy. But yeah, anyway, so that's this area. I have a lot of little roads here. Actually, I have the bus line coming down here and stopping just here as well. Plenty of connections to the rest of the city through these pathways. And then down this end, we have connections directly over to the Big Eye. As a couple of bus stops here and the tram stop just here too. So that's sort of all, I think it's all really well connected now. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then in the actual downtown area, you can see there's still a lot of space to add more buildings, but I did go through and add a few more. It's kind of hard to tell where they are, but most of the stuff I did was actually sort of around this train line here. So this bridge was one. These buildings on this side here are all newly placed. So they sort of come right up against the train line. We've got like this fence alongside the train here too. Comes along, goes down to the quay. All these buildings right on the edge. I love it. I love how this train line is like right in the middle of the city. Because I mean, if you're even just here, you can't even see the train line, you know. Or if you're just over here, you can't see the train line. It's like hidden away. Even like here, you don't see the train line because it's sunken down. But it's right there, splitting the center of the city straight through that section. I love it. I think it's so, so cool. So yeah, that's in there. We put buildings all around it. Here's that little tennis court as well that I placed in. There's a pathway that comes down in between, which occasionally people walk on, not often, but I think it does work. So that's hanging out there. And then we also did a bunch more stuff here around. So this used to be a big empty space here and here. So over this side, I just added, you know what? I don't know what this pathway is for. I feel like I was gonna put something there, but I didn't. I should probably put something there. Anyway, we have a parking lot over here, which again, I think makes sense. We've got all these apartment blocks here. We've got the big main station here. You know, a big plaza. I think parking is good. You know, we've got a parking lot over there, another one here. I think having more space is good. Also, probably needs to do some trees and shrubs. I just need to do a little bit of detailing with certain things here and there, but, you know, we'll get to that. So that's just there. So that little road goes underneath. Over this side, we've got a plaza and a little fast food joint, skate park, and a warehouse that's just storing some goods. And then this is the factory that I placed in, which I think does fit in with the city. You know, I think it works. I'm not 100% sure about this bridge because, like I was saying in the time lapse, I don't know how much sense that makes, but it's kind of cool. And then just in this little spot, we have a tall, I think it's an office block, or is it commercial? Let's have a look. It's an office block. So we've got an office block just there, a little bit more modern. I mean, it's still obviously very, you know, old school looking, but probably newer than the factory. Sort of sitting in here, I think it fits actually really surprisingly well in that little spot. This thin building. I kind of wish I had more triangular buildings that I could place down because that would be really cool to fill that space more perfectly. But I think that does so much. Like it fills in those gaps. Like you can see like this green space here, I need to do something with like trees or anything because it really sticks out when you're at a distance. Like even through here, like right in the center of the city, you know. But having this section filled in, I think makes such a big difference. Now, the other things we did, oh, actually I placed some stuff over here, which I don't even think was in the time lapse. Got a Toys R Us, a Bloomingdale's, you know, a few bigger box stores just on the outskirts of the actual downtown area. And then this is the little, I think it's the elementary community school or something like that. I don't know, one of the schools. A few buildings just around the block here as well. And a couple over this side. Need to do a little bit more here to fill it in, but I was just doing a few things here and there. I love this really thin building right there too. So that's sitting just there. Now, oh, actually, this is something else I did. I don't think this was in the time lapse because I wasn't even sure I was going to keep it. So this bridge that goes over, this is brand new. I think I spoke about potentially doing this once before. But yeah, before all traffic that was heading straight through would have to go here, stop at this traffic light, and then continue. Now, if you're continuing on the highway, like continuing out this way, you will come over this bridge. Or if you're using this exit here that comes over to this side, you will go over the bridge. If you are using this left-hand turn, which goes to the stadiums, you still will use the traffic lights because at this point, it didn't really make sense to have a weaving set of traffic from here across 2 lanes to get to the exit. So they do not have that ability. So to exit, you have to continue on the lower road, stop at the traffic lights, and then use that sort of connection. So it's still not perfect, but I kind of like that. You know, like I was saying earlier in the time lapse, not everything is perfect in cities, you know. This is what we've built, and this is how it works. I really like this whole setup. It's so weird, confusing, kind of cool, different. I like it. So that's that. And then we're moving down this way. So we built a historical steam train line just here. And like I said, half of the time it goes backwards because we don't have a turnaround yet. At some point, it'll probably continue down here somewhere and do a turnaround or something. I don't know. But anyway, so ignore the fact it's going backwards. It goes backwards. So this is like maybe one of our oldest train lines in the city. It came around this way. And I tried to make it look like it was there first. But, you know, even still, this train line clearly has been moved to accommodate this train station. So maybe I should adjust it. But it comes down here. And then sneaks underneath. And I have used some of the retaining walls to create my own, I guess, little tunnel. It's not really a tunnel, but you know what I mean. Like, it's sort of cut out so you don't see like big gaps underneath. You only see, hey, I deleted that pillar before. I don't know why that's back. That pillar that's like right sticking in the middle there. Hang on. I'll move it like there. Yeah, that'll do. I actually deleted it before, but I guess that it didn't like that, so whatever. Where's this one? Yeah, there we go. Just need to move that sandstone node. There we go. That's fine. Yeah, so that goes down there, and then it comes to this train station. Now, this whole area here is where we're planning on building a zoo. Maybe not the whole area. I don't know how big the zoo is going to be, but somewhere in this area is where the zoo is going to be. So there's this old historical train going here, and then it will continue out this way somewhere. Maybe they'll even just do a loop. Because I was originally, like I said, going to do turnarounds, but maybe because if it has to come here, we might as well have it like go out, maybe go to like the mountain, do like some cool mountain tour, and then just come back again. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. So that's that. Is that everything from the time lapse? I don't know. There's so much that happened. Yeah, we did 3 things. We did this, the stadiums, and the train. So that's that. Yeah, that's all of it. Oh yeah, and then this road here, I upgraded, like I was mentioning in the time lapse. But the problem is, everyone still uses. I was hoping they'd use the other lane because we have the left-hand turn lane. But pretty much everyone going forward also uses the left lane, so it still blocks the left-hand lane. I don't know why they don't like the other lane. I guess because I do so many manual lane assignments. I guess because if they were going to go in this lane, they'd probably be turning this way, but no one's turning that way, so I don't know. Whatever. Right, let's build. Let's build some stuff. Let's go here in the theme park. So we have level 5 theme park, which is pretty exciting. We took so long doing all the time-lapse stuff that it has leveled up. So we unlocked the Ferris wheel, which is right here. Which will go somewhere in the theme park. And we unlocked the roller coaster. So this is going to go somewhere in our theme park. Now, I did actually add an entrance on the back because I thought that was a cool idea. I'm thinking I might actually have to remove that if the roller coaster is going to go there. Or the roller coaster is going to have to go on the side. So why don't we move... Well, that's pretty... Maybe we can move this. Because this could go over here somewhere, maybe. But let's put in the Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel, I feel like, fits nicely... I always feel like it should be out here. Like, you get a way better view. But the theme park, the gimmick is it's inside the wall. So, okay, it's going to go in here. You know what? Let me try putting the Ferris wheel in the back corner. Okay, what's this again? Souvenir shop. All right, that can be moved onto this pathway there. Because then we can easily get a pathway just over here. That's fine. Gonna move the Whoops, no. Move the teacups just here. Because that fits in that... Look at that. It fits in that gap, like, amazingly well. And then maybe... What if we move this forward? Then we have a weird gap. Hang on. Okay, that is actually connected to the pathway just there, so we can actually use this space. Oh, that's good. So maybe we can move, because if the roller coaster is going on this side, let's move the tower drop ride over here. Actually, this one's pretty small too, isn't it? This could probably go around here somewhere. Let's just put it there for now. Let's move the drop ride over here as well. Okay, let's remove that, remove that. So we got this big space over there. Obviously the haunted house is still kind of in the way, so we need to rework some of this. I'm gonna get rid of this, whatever that was, a toilet. Remove this pathway. Okay, does this fit? I spent so long rearranging things. I don't know. I just gotta see if we can fit the roller coaster in. Okay, Come on. Oh, still probably not ideal. I mean, the entrance of the roller coaster is there, technically. Okay. It does crash into the wall. So let's, it needs to be like here. Wait, let's see. Can I? Oh, I can remove the fence on it. Okay, because then I can have it visually overlap. So you can see it's like over the carousel, but like not really ruining anything. But I think the furthest in the corner I can shove it, I'm just looking where the tracks are intersecting the wall. It's like there. Okay? Because then it goes like right up against the wall, which is pretty cool. Same over here, right up against the wall. Entrance is here. Entrance is a little squished. What if we can move this? Ugh, I've got no room, dude. I mean, they kind of fit here. Like that kind of just like it's not ideal. What if I like line these up like that? I'm just like lining up all the tiles. I mean, that kind of works. Like, it does overlap this main pathway a little bit, but it definitely all fits. Alright? So we've got the roller coaster in there, which is pretty cool. Got all the other rides. Some of them are like shoved way at the back, like this one's at the back. Also a little store in there, sort of in the corner. The haunted house is there. You know, we got everything. We got it all. So let's have a look. The entertainment is 2,503. That's pretty entertaining. Wow, we are not making money on that. Can we boost the tickets to 40? Will people pay that? I don't know how it works. Are they going to stop going? I mean, if I can make money on this, I'm going to do it. Okay, well, that's that. So we finally got the theme park. I think it's done. How loud is it, by the way? Does it make sound? You know what? It definitely doesn't make enough sound. This plaza makes more sound, apparently, out the front. What, not a roller coaster and people screaming? All right, whatever. This waste facility obviously makes a bunch of noise and a bunch of pollution, but thankfully it's far enough away from anything, which is great. So that's that. Now, the other thing I want to do was some zoning. I know we also have a zoo, but today's not really a zoo episode, so I think maybe because I was thinking we could do some potential industrial zoning out here just to get some more demand fulfilled. I think if we go, I kind of, maybe dirt, no, not dirt road. Let's do these highway roads. Well, they're not highway, they're country roads that don't have markings on them. So we can have like, maybe here. Now, how far away are we? I mean, we're a decent distance to have like sort of a more rural kind of look on things. So I don't want to, I'm not going to go too dense or anything out here. So I need to turn off snapping. Man, it's been a while since we've done some good old-fashioned zoning. Like, everything I've built the last probably 10 episodes has been like manually placed. Which I love doing, by the way. I think it looks so cool. Is this too gridded? Potentially. But, you know, it is what it is. So what I'm gonna, I think just, should it be regular industry or should we do, we could do a certain kind of industry. Why don't we make it like, should we do like oil or something? Or we could do, or should we do like another one of these industries? I guess we could do that. What other industries are there? I forget. So yeah, we could do an oil industry. We don't have that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do an oil industry. Let's do it out here. Although, is that kind of weird? Kind of weird. Can we get a cargo rail out here? Because our cargo line is here. Looking at this cargo rail, I don't know. If I were to have another rail come along, that's a whole other thing, isn't it? I guess we could have trucks deliver it to this station and then they could train it. Yeah, alright, maybe we'll think about that later. Alright, let's do oil industry. So, industry? I don't know if oil industry really right here makes a bunch of sense, but this is where oil is, okay? I've decided. Just this area. And also all our waste management, apparently. So I'm gonna paint down some oil reserves. Get strength 1, and then, oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that oil, beautiful. Nice big oil area, maybe up there too, you know. It's just kind of nice because it kind of looks like a bit more rural land, you know? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so this is gonna be oil industry main building. Remember how I said I was gonna do zoning? What happened to that? The main building for this, I don't know, where's that gonna go? Kind of didn't really plan to do this. Oh, there we go. Thank you for my congratulations, I appreciate it. So let's go here. Beautiful. It's kind of a bit random though, isn't it? I feel like it should be on the main road. Yeah, I do feel like it should be here. It just makes more sense. So, does it have water? I guess so now, yep. Yeah, we don't actually have power here. This thing does produce power, but probably not enough that's going to be like to power everything. So we should probably connect up to the main grid, which I can do from maybe here. I'm just going to use these for now. It's not going to look great, but until we build some more stuff out this way, that's left to do. So I am aware that that place in the middle of the road. There we go. So that will go there, and then... What is this? No. Use this. There you go. It's a bit... a bit random, but it's easier than driving that in the middle of the area. Okay, so that connects there. Now, let's have a look. So we've got oil, small oil pump. We've got... that will turn it into... What does that make? Petroleum. Okay. And this is storage. Crude oil tank, yeah. So let's get... Oh yeah, these look so cool, actually. Get some crude oil storage. Heck yeah. Oh, this is going to look great, this area, I reckon. Move down a bit. I actually didn't mean to move that, but sure. So we got crude oil storage. Fantastic. Then, let's get some actual oil wells. Oh, these are tiny. All right. Maybe we should do like what LA does and just have a bunch of oil pumps in the middle of our downtown. That'd be sick. How much do these produce and how many should I be placing? Workplace is 18 on each of these. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait. Is this actually going to affect my my industrial demand, or is this not going to do much for us? Because we've got... Okay, so these are going. We've got freight trucks in use 0. 3 out of 18 workers. Not a lot of people working there. Okay. 16 jobs available. Mostly for uneducated people. Which I don't know that we have a lot of those in our city anymore. Okay, so what do we have to do to level up? We need 225 workers and 500 resources produced. Oh no, we need 150 workers. That's how many we can have. Good lord, that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, let's also get the... Oh, this is tiny as well. I thought this was huge. I guess we'll get this. Get one there. Is 1 enough? Or do we need 2? I don't know. I always just place things and hope for the best. I mean, these should probably not be on the main road, thinking about it. So I might put them up over here. Because then we're just adding traffic to this road that doesn't need to be that way. Alright, so that should start going. Now, that means we're going to have people coming out here. I guess a train station or something would probably be good, eventually. I don't know where it would go, but... Whatever happened to be zoning, by the way? Remember how I said I was going to zone stuff? We need to zone stuff. I'm just going to leave that to do its thing. I want to zone something. But where? We don't have... There's not that much... I guess it has to be around here somewhere, doesn't it? Do we just zone, like, some section here? Now, originally we're going to do a zoo here. That's not happening anymore. Though, having said that, we could do, like, a city zoo. Because there's the one that's in here. So, oh, actually... Okay, I'm doing the thing where I get super distracted and start doing other things. We can level this up. Heck yeah! So now we're level 2. What does that do? I don't know, I just did it. Are they gonna tell me what it does? No? Hello? Upgrades. Okay, it doesn't tell me what it does. Okay, this one, upgrade costs 120. Band popularity. One sold out concept. Wait, I can already do this. Heck yeah! Wait, I'm confused. I don't really know what the upgrades are. Besides making this... Okay, this takes a lot more space now. There's stuff overlapping. Oh, all my beautifully placed custom trees don't make sense anymore. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix this. But anyway, wait, does this upgrade too? Is that what happened with this? What happened to this? Nothing. I'm not really, I guess it just holds more people now. Is that the difference? Security budget I can turn up. Yeah, I can have 1,000 people instead of what, 300 I think it originally was. So now that we're distracted over here, we can do another one. Oh, okay, so that's how that works. So I think you can go up to 3. So originally there was an idea to have one up here as well, which would be cool. So maybe we should do that. Not right now. Why do I get so distracted? Why does this happen? Let's zone this area, because this, I'm just putting like offices here. Because I mean, it is a bit of a random space alongside the highway. So I actually want to see what this looks like if I just zone it. With offices all the way along. And maybe on this side too. Yeah, you know what, why not? Just right along the highway. At least to that point, and then I'll go a bit smaller. And then a bit smaller. And then we'll probably do like some maybe trees or a wall or barrier or something. So that, yeah, there you go. That's taking care of our industrial demand a fair bit. I don't know if these are going to look any good, but I mean, I don't think they look bad because they're just offices. So it should be all right just sitting there. As long as they don't become too big. But you know what? Let's make some of these historical so they don't change, because I think they look fine. Yeah, these at the moment, I'm happy with. Like, these all look good. No problems. So I'm going to make them historical so they don't upgrade. Because I don't want skyscrapers in this little section. Because I don't think it would make sense. But yeah. Oh, look at that. That's actually handled that demand quite nicely. So we should hopefully start seeing a little bit more... A few more people moving in. I wonder if we zone these areas with commercial. It's probably going to look really bad though, isn't it? That's the problem with zoning. Like, it's okay. I feel like zoning's fine. Like, I mean, most of this is zoned. It's fine when the rest of the stuff is zoned, but when you have it next to stuff like I've manually placed, like if I... So I've done, obviously manually placed all this. If it then just did regular zoning here, it probably would stick out like a sore thumb, you know? So, I think we got to be careful when we do that. Alright, so we've got a bunch more buildings here now, which is good. Set them as historical. I guess I could just set the district as historical. It would probably make sense. I'll get that mod that does it. Would probably be a nice idea, but I have not done that. That's all good to me. Making sure I didn't miss any. Oop, there we go. Very nice. So that will get a lot of people working there. Yeah, you know what? That actually looks good. I like these buildings there. I think that works. I think that totally works. I bet there'll definitely be buildings I miss here that just pop up and it's like a giant one later on, but should be alright. Okay, well let's maybe do, because we got commercial here, maybe let's zone some commercial, or let's try and do some specialized commercial, because that's another thing that we apparently need to do. So we'll actually, also we got this big road. At the moment, we stopped here because this was going to be a park. I guess we could still do it as a park, but I feel like the big road should probably still continue. So what I'm going to do is this road is going to go here. Hang on, let me turn snapping back on real quick. Yeah, and then maybe in here somewhere, I don't know, let's just say here. It won't necessarily have this road here, but this will be a park, and then that means we can zone some of this area just here. That's the plan. So let's get a road in the middle. Go from this one, yeah. We'll run parallel to that main road, because that will give us good zoning coverage all back there. And then, you know what? I will join here. That's fine. And then I'm just going to turn off. I mean, crossings are fine. They just look really ugly. What I might do is turn off the visual crossing, which we can do, I think, with this, right? If we just click on it. No, not that one. This one. We can turn off the markings. Yeah, so then people can still cross here, but we don't see the crossings, and I think it just looks a lot neater. It's quite nice. All right, so that will give us this area here. Yeah, I don't know that this large road here is going to be here. It probably doesn't make too much sense. I think we can probably start getting smaller roads now that we're getting further out of the city. So I might even just, whoops. We could still do like a pretty, oh yes, oil industry upgraded. We could do a pretty dense road. Like if we do like a 4-lane road like this, I even think that's probably still too much. But just, you know, so we have potential upgrade path, you know, if there's a lot of traffic on it. Because I don't know what we're building here. I don't know what we're doing here. There could be something that's really busy out this way that maybe we want a big road for. So now this area, let's have a look. So I'm gonna get rid of this. We don't need that. Because if I do a park, we'll put it in later. So I'm gonna say this section here, going to be a specific district. And so is this section. It's kind of weird, but I want to do 2 different commercial specializations. And also this should probably be in part of a district. I don't know what district it should be in though, because it's kind of a bit random. I'll leave it for now. Bedford Square. Wow, don't we have Bedford Square? It's literally over there. Can you not come up with more names in that game? Now, I don't know if this is a good idea. Let's do tourism. A bit random, but I think if it's next to a park, it kind of makes sense. And the leisure, like clubs and stuff, will be right there. Okay? Let's see. Do we do high density or low density? I'm not even sure. Is it supposed to be low density or high density? Does it matter? Because these aren't even in those categories. I don't know what to zone here. Let's do low and see what happens. Hello? Oh, we're getting something. We're getting something. Okay, so there's definitely stuff coming in. So that should take care of some commercial demand. I'm curious to see what pops up here. That is a tall building. Oh no, if all of these end up being like super tall. Okay, you know what? What I'm going to do, you stay. I like you. That's fine. Oh no, these are going to be big buildings. It's the same building, just a different color. Okay. That also looks like the same. That's the problem with these is they're all this. It's not that many varieties. They end up being the same building over and over. Yeah, look, this is all the same freaking building. This one's okay. Okay. Now, we got 1 club back here. Oh, and this one actually. You know what? These are okay. Yeah, you can stay. You can stay. Oh, gosh. Okay, you know what? I think what we need to do is maybe only... The tall buildings are, I think, are okay, but maybe they should be on the park side. So let's get rid... Yeah, get rid of that. Get rid of everything on the back. Actually, yeah, they can be bigger. Let's do that. And then let's maybe... What if we increase the footprint of this to this little section? Okay, no. I still wanted this section, you know. I want this bit, this little slither to be tourism, and then that's all nightclubs. Okay? Let's let this zone in and see. This might be the dumbest way to do this, I don't know. Alright, so let's get those in. I think it'll look alright having tall buildings along the park. And it's kind of like they're near the water. And I think we'll definitely have to continue the trams down this road. At some point, I hate this thing. But, you know, we need it at the moment for the tram turnaround. We'll change that eventually. Okay, so we've got 50 of the same building. Great. Got an auto zone. Which... Oh. Okay, yeah, you know what? I didn't specify that to be tourism. Okay, fair enough. That was my bad. Okay, this one can stay. And that one. Maybe I want these to come again. No, that one can stay, actually. Okay. Let's try again. Come on, guys. Alright, we are sort of handling a little bit of the demand now, which is nice. It's not as rampant. But I still don't think we're going to hit 50,000, which is a shame. Maybe we can do some... Oh my gosh. The oil trucks just back and forth in this little area. Well, we do have... Wait. So this one's new. This does plastics. Ooh. Don't mind if I do. Get that in there. And we also have the new oil drilling. Heck yeah. Get some of these puppies going. Give me that sweet, sweet oil. So these take 30 workers. Good lord. And this is 80 workers. Good lord. Okay, so that should create... That's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of jobs. Hopefully that increases demand for people to move in. I swear, let's have a look. Some of these buildings have got to be like empty still. Yeah, look, there's still 4 households available. This still has like 20. You know. There's a lot of space. Like, so I don't quite understand. We have demand, but like we have room. So will they just move into these empty places? Some of them are full. Those are all jobs. But a lot of them still have a few. Oh yeah, so a lot of people here turning left. Interesting, interesting. That's okay. Okay, this looks a little bit better. Though I feel like... Oh no, they are tourism. Okay. We got a lot of octopus places. No, we're getting somewhere. I like this building. That's different. That's fine because it's far enough away from that one. That's fine. That's fine. What is this? That can go. We need something in there, please. And then another octopus one here is fine, but maybe this one should change because it's the same. It's very distinct. Like I can see it very clearly. And 20 of the same clubs back there too, by the way. But there's just not that many of them. Like I said, when I was building this area, there's not that many clubs. But I think it's okay if they're sort of hidden at the back. You know, we don't really see it. They're sort of back there, just low density. Well, not low density. They're sort of mid-density buildings, so it's actually not too bad. Well, I guess that's that. I mean, we didn't do too much in the live play. I mean, we did finish the theme park, which I'm pretty stoked about. You know, when I say finish, I probably want to do some more trees and stuff in here. Obviously not too much around the roller coaster, because that would be a little overkill, but... Whoa! Look at him go! Whee! Sweet. But that's cool. And we did do a lot in the time lapse, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this area, which I think is fine. Maybe, I don't know about this, but I think if this is a park, that'll be right. And then, oh yeah, your thoughts on the big waste plant, which I kind of love now. I feel like it's growing on me. I think I might need to do that different intersection here with a connection on this side too, just to ease that up a bit. I'll have to work on that festival now that it's a little bigger. I quite like this area. I'm quite happy with it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time and have an awesome day.